true encounter is just a meeting of sameness, total respect. It's rare. It's rare that maybe there'll be an absolute true encounter.
It's just rare in the way that we live. It doesn't have to necessarily mean it's rare.
Right. It's rare as long as we let in all of that other junk. If we let in all of that historical perspective, that has skewed our perception. If we let that in, then you're my enemy, or you're my friend, or you're someone who I like, or you're someone who I dislike, or there's not that whole dynamic of like minds, dissimilar minds, and then the ego jumps in and not feeling safe with differences, right? Kind of highlights those differences and then puts up walls of protection. And the walls are usually superior and inferior, or the opposite. Now I'm feeling, somehow inferior. So there's walls there. There's not.
That's a beautiful insight into a mechanism that seems kind of simple. It's just this encounter is clouded by this overlay.
Yeah, clouds. You can't see the clear sky because clouds.
But usually we think of it as that we need to work on all those clouds, and have some kind of a therapist, a cloud therapist, and take a class about clouds. But really, we're not saying that. We're just saying that all we have to do is
not let them in.
Not let them in, or
not believe in them.
Not give them any energy. Not associate with them. Not believe them. Not identify with them.
Yeah,
and just stay with what's underneath, which is.
And the more we stay with what's essential, what's non-essential gets weakened. All the energy gets pulled from that, and stays with your true power. You feel powerful, don't you? In an essential encounter, you're pulsating, you're vibrating with all of life.
It's kind of like that you just don't feel weakened. You don't really feel feeble anywhere. You don't feel doubtful.
Right.
You don't feel like intrepidation or, not wanting to step forward. Because just is. I don't know if that's. I wouldn't necessarily say I feel powerful because powerful. I know there's too many associations with that.
With the ego, right?
With that, personal power.
Personal power, right?
So it's not personal power that we're talking about.
No, it's just the immensity. It's the immensity that you are when you don't let in the historical story, when you don't rely on the historical perspective.
So all the history, more than just a perspective, it's the one that's got all those barriers. So you said there's the barrier of superiority, there's a barrier of inferiority, but there's also boundaries too, of how far I go and not beyond, and isolation.
Self-understanding, right. Isolation.
That's all part of this
limits,
this historical self.
Sure.
Then there's a whole set of feelings that go with this, and a whole set of emotions that go with it.
Attitudes.
Attitudes are like basic beliefs, right? Or like kind of like the ground structure of how the world works, according to me.
Yeah, and if you're hanging on to attitudes or clinging to attitudes because the historical self has presented certain information that you grab onto, right? Seizing onto an idea that causes some sort of disconnection, it's going to result in some sort of pain, some sort of discomfort, some sort of suffering. Here I would say pain and suffering would be the same, because I'm not talking about physical pain, although it can be physical, felt in the body. Because just because of clinging to one idea, you cling to one idea and you can feel pain in the body. You cling to one idea and you can feel mental anguish. You cling to one idea and you have a whole confusion scenario set up, and then how to get out of the confusion creates desperation. You cling to one idea and you have all of that. So once there's a real honesty, right, a willingness to meet what's arising, what's bubbling up, not just to meet, the contentless moment, right, but to meet the content that's arising in the moment. Once there's a willingness to meet that, then there's no more repression, and there can be a great emotional release, and that can be necessary.
So the content is part of it, and the content is going to be there.
Content is going to be there, yeah, or it's not. It's either going to be there or it's not there. If it's there, what are you going to do to make it not there? And if it's not there, why bring it up?
Right.
See, that's the thing. When you ask people to inquire, who am I? There's nothing there. But they want to go fishing for content. There's nothing there. But they want to bring it up. They want to bring something up. Because they think that they're supposed to.
Yeah, they think they're supposed to.
So when we have a true encounter, it's the same. It's the sameness. Sameness is just kind of resonating with itself, right? But that story of my ambitions and my dreams and my desires and my hopes and my fulfillment and my success and my failure and my lack of whatever, success or lack of satisfaction, dissatisfaction, that all comes in like a wind. It just comes in. It's not here, right? It's not here. Suddenly it's here. You're overwhelmed, or you're swept over, by these ideas that I'm incomplete, I'm imperfect, I need to work on this, I need to work on that, I'm going nowhere, whatever, all those ideas. I have to get there, wherever there is. And the teacher just says, okay, you're already there. So rather than focusing on, I have to get there, what does it feel like to be here? Right? There's only two kinds of people, right? The kind of people that are trying to get there, and the kind of people that are experiencing what it's like to be here.
So in other words, you're saying it's an easy switch.
It's an easy switch into time and out of time.
Right. There's nothing really to do.
No. It's a shift in attention, right? Maybe right hemisphere, left hemisphere. Just a shift. Mind, no mind. Historical, essential.